Hey, what's up, guys? How is it today? I present to you another wonderful episode of flyer designs using your mobile phone in pixellab. A couple of weeks ago, I promised to do more phone graphics designs. Therefore, I'm here to fulfill that promise. I know you're gonna enjoy this one. Please don't forget, all lesson files for this tutorial is in a link in the description box below. So do download and follow along with this tutorial. With that being said, let's commence this tutorial. Okay guys, so as usual, the first thing we're going to do is to install or launch pixellab. For those of you that have not installed it on your phone, just head over to Google Play Store, then you can easily install. Alright, this is the first interface you see when you launch pixellab for the first time on your mobile phone, or maybe subsequently as a user. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is to click on this plus icon and from gallery to insert my background, which is this. So I have a couple of images here which we are going to be working with, and as usual, just like as our tradition is, I'm just going to leave everything in a link in the description box so you can download for your use. So I'm just going to add this, and I'm going to click on this checker here. All right, and I'm just going to drag over here to just fit the whole workspace like that, and I'm gonna lock this layer down. If you have been following my other series, other full graphic design tutorials, you notice that that's a custom for me, because it gives me a total control over my workspace, so I don't have my elements flying over the artboard. All right, I chose this particular design because of its simplicity. If you can notice, the background is very easy. It's just, you know, some colors and stage light finish, and I didn't do much noise because I wanted it to depict simplicity, and I decided to reduce, you know, the content of it to the minimal, so as this is going to be straightforward for the beginners, and even at the end of the day it's going to appear very friendly and very beautiful. All right, so with that being said, I'm just going to bring in my church logo from the gallery, and it is this white logo we have here. Okay, so I'm just going to head over to this section here, the hexagonal icon where we always work with, and click on this relative size, and I'm going to set the size to exactly 9%, just 9% here we do. Okay, so at 9%, I'll make sure it's positioned. I'm sorry about that. I'll make sure it's positioned to the center, or it's aligned to the center. Then I'm just going to take it away from the front a bit by, let's say, 6 pixels downward. 6 pixels downward. So I'll just keep, you know, tapping on this till we get what we want. All right, let's say at this point. Okay, so I'm just going to click on this and check our layers. So I'm just going to lock this down too, because I don't need it. I won't be needing it. And same thing with this too, because I don't want it to move all over the artboard. All right, so what I want to do next is to type. I'm just going to bring in my text tool and type over here. I'm just going to double tap on this and say, in uppercase, True Gospel Church. Okay, True Gospel Church. All right, and I'm just going to set some stylings to it. The first of them is going to be the color. The color is going to be set to white because of simplicity's sake. Then I'm going to choose a font that we all have. I decided to work with the pre-installed font, so we don't have to install any other additional font. And the name of that font is ABC Regular. Okay, so I'm just going to click on this. Okay, like this. Then I'll make sure I'm gonna set the size, the font size, to, let's say, 12 or 13 or so. Let's see what that happens. I'm just going to look for it. I don't know why I keep forgetting where the font size is. All right, I'm just going to set it to 12 like this. Okay, True Gospel Church, actually, not check. So I'm going to double tap on this. I'm sorry about that. Okay, and this is fine. All right, so let's position this to the top, straight to the top. Okay, and to the center like this. So we're just going to use the position tool to bring it downwards to where we want it to be. So I'm just going to tap like this and bring it downwards exactly. Okay, so I guess this position is perfect. So what do we do next? Who can guess our next move? We are going to lock it down. All right, fine. So the next thing I want to do is to type, and I'm still going to bring in my text tool again and type. I'm just going to double tap on this and say present. This is going to be in lowercase this time. Presents. Okay, and I'm just going to okay that. Then it's very important I do some editing here. The first of which is going to be changing the font size, which is let's say the font family first. That is very important. So I'm just going to go to this AB font, that icon there, click on it, and I'm going to look for letter Gothic. I don't know if I have this on my pre-installed font, but if it's not here, I guess we'll just have to find it on my font. And if it's not there also, which is supposed to be there, so I'm sorry, let's look for it together. Letter Gothic, that was the name of the font I used exactly. All right, I'm just going to search my fonts. Letter Gothic, I can't spell. Letter Gothic. Okay, so I guess we have seen it, letter Gothic, and I'm just going to pick the plain one. Let's see, no, I'll pick the bold. Okay, the bold will work perfectly for this. Okay, and I'm just going to shift it over here. Then I'm going to change the style to italic like this. Change the style to italic. Then what I want to do is actually I believe we should use the the lighter one. So I'm just going to search letter Gothic again and take this instead. Better. All right, so next thing I want to do is to set a spacing between each letter. All right, I'm going to just set a spacing of 100. I guess that's too much, but we'll see in a moment what I'm doing. Then I'm going to set the size of the text. I'll set the size of the text to let's say size 15. Okay, size 15 like this. I'm just going to tap, continue tapping till you get what we want. Okay, then make sure it's positioned in the center like this. I think this is perfect. So I'm just going to position take it up by, let's say, 6 pixels, or let's say at this point here it's better. Okay, I'm just going to take it up a bit. Let's see. All right, okay, permits me to just bring it down a bit by same 6 pixels. Okay, let's see. Okay, this is better. And since we still have much space up, I'm just going to take most of this up. It's part of my readjustment strategy. So just permits me to take this up by 6 pixels. Okay, like this. So I'm just going to still take it by 6 pixels. Okay, this way, so we can have more space for our images when we start fitting them in. So I'm just going to click on the True Gospel Church, the layer of it. Then I'm going to position it again, take it up by 6 pixels too. Okay, so make sure you use this positioning tools the way I use them here, because if you want to manually drag it upwards, you end up distorting your image or your text, and you wouldn't want that. Okay, better this way. All right, so I'm just going to lock the rest down. Okay, so it's time for us to bring in our minister's image. You can notice we used 3 ministers. The first, Solomon Lange, second was Mercy Chinwo, and the third was obvious. It was just a makeup name because that minister doesn't actually exist. So I just decided to just use them. All right, so I'm just going to bring him for the sake of this tutorial. So I'm going to click on this from gallery also, and first of all I'll bring in Minister Solomon Lange. I'll make sure I just edit it to this. I just crop the size we want like this. Yes, we'll need this. Okay, so we won't take, while I'm doing this, so we'll end up taking the extra spaces that comes with the image. I've taken the pains to remove the background for you all, because if I decide to start taking the background right in this tutorial, there will not be time for us to do the needful. So I've taken the background out of these images. So I'm just going to resize him, okay, and place him at, I think this, I'm still going to resize him a bit. We'll be doing a lot of resizing for these images, so we'll get the perfect size for our images. Right, let me just say like this. Okay, no size is actually too perfect when you are designing until you are satisfied with it. All right, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring in the next minister from my gallery. And what's that next minister? Mesichinwo. All right, so I'm still going to, as usual, crop the one I want like this. I'll just take the actual image itself like this, and I'm just going to resize, but this time I want to place her behind Solomon Lange. And how do we do that? All right, we're going to do that by going to the layer itself. I'm just going to click on this and drag below. You can see, right? But this time below Solomon Lange's picture like this. Perfect. So you can see it's not really rocket science. So this is a very easy concept, very easy, and it's just knowing how to do the mass, plus and minus here and there, and before you know, you have gotten the whole concept. It's very easy. All right, so I'm just going to drag her over like this and resize her to this. Okay, so you want to ensure that they are placed shoulder to shoulder, like at shoulder level. Understand? So that is one rule again. So I have decided to just share one of my tips, my useful tips when designing a flyer like this. So you want to make sure that they are actually placed shoulder to shoulder. Very important. Shoulder to shoulder. Okay, like this. Then finally we're going to bring in the last minister from our gallery, and is Minister John Doe, because he doesn't have an identity. I actually got this image, it's royalty free image from pixellab, I suppose, from pixellab. So because of licensing issues, so YouTube will not come and block my video. Don't mind me. All right, so I'm just going to resize this like this. Okay, and guess where we want him? We want him behind the lady. That's Mesichinwo. So we're just going to place him there. All right, you can see the same process I did. I just click, you hold down the layer, then you can drag to wherever you want. You understand? This is as easy as that. So same thing, I'm just going to resize the gentleman, resize like this. Okay, I want to actually make sure he's actually behind Mesichinwo like this, and is very small like this. Okay, so I guess this is better. This is much more better. All right, so we have a little problem here, and that problem is okay, I believe this is okay for now. We'll discuss the problem later. Okay, so I guess we have our minister's picture. So all I want to do, okay, let's just fix the issue right away. So which is the positioning. So I'm just going to, you can notice there's no the spaces on the left side is not equal to that on the right side. So I'm just going to adjust that, fix them right away by moving them to the left 6 pixels. Okay, and I'm just going to do the same thing for this gentleman here, like this. Okay, let's say 6 pixels. Okay, then the next thing is going to be locking down the old layers. You can see, so nothing is going to move. You can see no image is going to move, no matter how hard I try to move them. All right, so make sure you save your projects. I'm just going to save as let's say it's Glory, because that's the name of the team. It's Glory Flyer Tutorial. Okay, so guys, it's time to bring in our test. So I'm just going to click on the plus icon and test. I'm just going to type, bring this man over here, and first test should be, the first letter actually should be uppercase, like this, his. Okay, and I'm just going to head over to the font section. That's the icon with the AB, and I'm going to look for Alex brush. Suppose it's a pre-installed font. If you install, when I mean pre-install, is it comes with pixellab when you install it. All right, this is not a font that I actually installed myself. Okay, this is it. Then I'm just going to do some little adjustment to it. First of all is to I'm just going to move it over here like this. Okay, you can see that's why I always advise you use your move tool to move text or to move elements in your pixellab. All right, so I'm just going to look for my position tool right here. Where is it again? Hey, don't mind me. You know, I'm still getting used to pixellab. I hardly use it except when I want to make tutorials like this. All right, so I'm just going to push this down to this side. All right, okay, then the size, I'm just going to set the size to, let's say, 54. Let's see what 54 will do for us. Okay, 54 is like this. All right, so I'm just going to tap on this, and you know what I want to do? I want to, bold the text, let text come out. So I'm just going to go to this style, this B icon we have here, then below it we have style. I'm just going to click on it and set this to bold like this. All right, so when I set this to bold, I want to move it to the left. So position, I'm just going to move it to the left like this and move it up. Okay, upwards like this. So let's see, is. All right, so there we have it. We have is. So I'm just going to type, do the same thing for Glory too. I'm just going to type here, double double tap on this, don't mind me, and okay. All right, so we're just going to do some few editing to this. This one is, this is the icon, like this is the most important test of this tutorial, and we are going to treat it that way. Okay, so what we want to do actually is we want to do a lot of things. And the first thing on our list here is to actually, and I'm going to rotate it. I'll rotate it first of all. Rotate. So this is rotate. This rotates icon we have here, and I'm just going to rotate it by -2. Understand, an angle of -2. The next thing I want to do is to change the font size, and I used another pre-installed font, which is Days. Okay, because of its thickness and the ability to stand out. You understand? So also this is what I used. Then I made sure I gave it a size of 84. So let's try that. I'm just going to go to text size over here and drag it to 84. Okay, 84 is this, like this. All right, so I'm just going to move it like this to this point here, to this point we have here. All right, so it's Glory, and I'm actually forgetting something. Position, center alignment, and I'm actually a fan of center alignment, and I've started forgetting about it. Don't mind me. So let's go to positioning. So the positioning we're going to use is positioning, relative position, center alignment like this. So even the his will follow in that pattern too. The his will follow in that pattern. Okay, so we're going to click on the his like this, and we're just going to move it 6 pixels to the right like this. All right, then I'm just going to take it up like this. Okay, so there it is. And I suppose we forgot to rotate the his too. We're just going to rotate it by only 1 pixel. Rotate it by only 1 pixel. Okay, where's the rotate again? Don't mind me. All right, so rotate by 1. Okay, and there is it. Okay, so I'm just going to click on the glory, and I'm going to add a texture to it, and this is how we add the texture to it. So watch very closely. Okay, so this is its texture. Okay, so this is how we're going to change the texture to that amazing texture I used, and which is this. I'm just going to click on this, and I use this as the texture. I use this picture. All right, so you can see it has changed. A whole lot of things has changed there, and I did 1 or 2 abracadabra on it to actually spice things up. And the first thing I did was actually to change the bevel and emboss of it, the bevel and emboss, and this is it. We have here the emboss, and I enabled it, and you can see when I enabled it, a lot of things has actually changed, which is okay. The first is all right. The first we have a bevel of 90 degrees, so I use the light angle of 90 degrees. You can play with it though. Look at, so when you play with it, you can see there are a lot of nice stuff you can get from it. A lot of nice stuff you can get from it. Okay, then I actually used an intensity of 94. Let's set the intensity to 94. Please don't forget to play with all these numbers. Don't just because I used it, you too you should use it. You understand? You should play with it, because that's the only way you can learn. You understand? So I used an ambient light of 100, then spectacular hardness or specular hardness. Sorry about that. I used 47 like this. So make sure you play with this to your taste. Don't just rely on all these stuffs you've gotten from this tutorial. Then I use the bevel of just 1 like this. Okay, you can see we have gotten exactly the same thing. Then I suppose I added a few drop shadow to it. So let's see what the shadow can do. Okay, this is the shadow. All right, so I'm just going to play with the shadow here. As you can see, we are going to be doing that together. I'm just going to reduce the blur, reduce the opacity. You can see once the opacity hit 100, it becomes this thick, but we don't want it that way. And let's see, mind you, the color is set to black. You can see, make sure the color is set to black. Then you can see expand by 10, blah blah blah. The difference is, if you notice, the difference is not that much. You understand? Not that much, but something is really going on that you can't see. Okay, I guess this is what we have for the drop shadow. This is actually 3D shadow, but well, it doesn't really matter, because I've gotten what we want. You can see, if you notice, I'm just going to zoom into it, and you will notice the shadow effect you have over here. All right, so for this is I'm just going to it's too bold for my liking. I don't like the way it's bold, so I'll work on that. So I'm just going to bring it down like this, or we can just leave it this way. It's all for tutorial sake. Also, for the images, if you notice, if you look properly at the one we had at the thumbnail, if you notice, the images were, they were blur at the ending. You understand? Or should I say blur? I shouldn't use blur. It was erased softly at the base. You understand? It was erased softly at the base. You can see. So we won't have this straight line we're having here. But I'm just going to leave that to you all to figure it out. I actually did this specifically for you, so you can figure it out. And yes, I think that will be our next assignment. Okay, the question is, how did I come up with the images, being erased at the base? How did I go about it? All right, so you can answer that question in the comment box. And there are lots of ways actually, but I'm not just going to share my secret with you guys. You understand? Okay, because it's for tutorial sake. Okay, so subsequently, I believe we'll be talking about how to actually, we're just going to learn how to remove backgrounds from images or images from backgrounds actually, anyhow you want to say it. So I'm just going to move this by 6 pixels to the left, so make sure it's aligned. Okay, so we are not actually having exactly the same thing, but this is workable. We can work with this. So I'm just going to lock down the layers like this. Okay, so like I said, this tutorial is very basic, very basic. You understand? You can see I actually made some mistakes that were not in the initial flyer design, and actually left some things out, so you can figure it out, so it will not just be dependent on everything I do. All right, so now let's bring in our lens flare from our gallery. Okay, so I'm just going to bring in a lens flare, and here we have it. This is it. Okay, so I need just this spot here, so I'm just going to cut this part out like this and place it under. So the lens flare, I'm just going to do just little stuff with it. Okay, and I'll place it like this. I'll just try to rotate it a bit. Okay, so just rotate it like this. Okay, then I want it below the glory, so I'm just going to hold and tap. You understand? So I want it directly below the glory like this, so just hold. That's long hold and drag. Very simple. Okay, so it's actually at the spot we want it, and I'm just going to I'm just going to move it a bit. I'm just going to click on the layer itself, that's the lens flare, and I'm just going to move this downwards a bit. Let's say, okay, I guess 6 pixels won't not do what we want, so I'm just going to move it by 1 pixel like this. All right, so this is okay. So I'm still going to just move it upwards. It's good to do things perfectly, right? Okay, so I'm just going to move it 1 pixels upwards. Then I'll move it to the left too. So I want this star stuff, understand, to be at the center of the glory, so it will make more sense like this. Okay, so this is better. At least it's manageable. We can work with this. All right, so the next thing I want to do is to bring in some more text, and I'm just going to type in guest ministers. Okay, all right, so for the guest ministers, I used the same fonts, the font of ABC. All right, so I'm just going to look for it. Where am I going to, for God's sake? Okay, AB font is it. So this was the font I used, ABC regular. Okay, this is for the guest ministers. Then I also gave it a font style of italic like this. All right, and I also gave it a spacing of 72. But before I do the spacing, let's reduce the size. This is too big. It's way too big for us, so I'm just going to reduce the text size to okay, let's say I reduce this text size to 84. I'm sorry about my area, dogs making so much noise. Sorry, I'm going to reduce the text size like this. I was actually supposed to reduce, not increase. Okay, so like this. I think this is better. And I'm just going to increase the spacing. Okay, so like this is okay. So I'll still reduce the text size for this. So I wanted to play with this one. That is why I didn't note down the actual figure I used. I wanted to just play with it, so it will look a little bit different from what I did. Okay, so I'm going to add more spacing to it. Okay, all right, so I wonder why those dogs are barking by this time of the day. Don't mind those dogs. It's when I want to start recording they start making noise. Okay, so this is it. So here we have it, guest ministers. All right, I'm still going to bring in more text, which is this, and it's going to be sorry about that. I'm just going to type Solomon lange. All right, then I'm just going to keep 4 white spaces like this, then bring in this straight line. like this. I'm just going to type, giving space again like this too, and type in Messichinwo, and same thing. Let's say space like this. All right, then I'm just going to bring in this, this slash. I don't know the name of the arrow or what they call it. It's not even an arrow, it's a symbol, I suppose. So I'm just going to give a white space like this. All right, and type the last person, all viewers. That's our John Doe here, because I don't really know his name. Okay, so first thing I want to do is, if you notice, the size is too big. So we're going to reduce the font size to 20, like this, something smaller and workable. I'm just going to stretch this or drag this over like this way. Okay, and I'm just going to change the color. You can see to this color we have over here, or I'm just going to click on this plus icon and choose my own color like this. I want something close to the glory text like this, so I'm just going to use this one, and okay, I think this is better. All right, this is better. Then I'm going to change the font size. I'm changing the font size to something different. I'm going to use Roboto Regular. I believe you all have this in your pixellab, so this is the font size I use, Roboto Regular. Okay, then I believe I'll just I think I'll just throw in few spacing to the text like this. Not really much, just can see just like around 6 to 7, or let's say, no, let's make it 8. Okay, then I'll make sure I align this to the center. Okay, all right, so what do we do next? We're just going to lock this down so it doesn't move. Okay, so you can notice our flyer is actually coming to life. It's getting better and better. It's looking nice. All right, but it could be nicer if I didn't leave one or two things out, especially the images, because I actually wanted you guys to improvise your way around it. So maybe when you're actually practicing this tutorial on your own, you should endeavor to add those things I left out in it. Okay, so I'm just going to add the church address and the date and time for this. So I won't want this tutorial to be more than 1 hour, so I'm just going to do this fast. So it's very simple, so you just watch. Okay, so I'm just going to bring this down to this point, and there we have it. I'm just going to throw some spacing. Okay, I actually fast forwarded this video because you understand, because it's all about repetition. So what's the point of repeating everything we have done before? You understand, it's just going to be very boring. So that's why I had to just fast forward it, and so it's going to save our time, since we have gotten the main or the core concept of this tutorial. So guys, as you can see, in just less than how many minutes we have built a successful flyer, and it's actually looking good. You can actually use this for your church, your event, anything, and you can use the background. Feel free to use the background. It's my creativity, it's my own idea. Use it anytime you feel like. And you can even use the other one too. I forgot to state that too in my last video. So feel free to use it. Enjoy yourself. You can use it to create more amazing flyer designs like this. If you notice, there's actually 1 or 2 corrections we are going to make fast. So the first thing is to actually I forgot to italize the test of the glory, so it will appear really realistic like this, which is this. So you can see. So I was just figuring like what could go wrong, like something is not right about this flyer design, and I actually figured it out. So guys, this is one of those things. I actually forgot this part. All right, so I'm just going to bring it down like this, or you know what, I'm just going to take it up. I'll take it up and move it to the right, or I'll make sure it's positioned to the center like this. Then I will do the same thing for the his like this. I'll do the same thing for the his. I'll make sure I lock the layers down too. So I'm just going to move this to the right like this by 6 pixels. I think that will be okay. All right, then there's one more thing about the glory. So if you notice, the wire has been cut off, so I'm just going to double tap on this and give a white space there like this. Okay, and you can see that's fixed our problem. So with this, the flyer is looking more realistic. And don't forget to share these videos with your friends. There are a lot of people who want to know this. There are a lot of people who look for who to pay to actually learn this, something that they can do on their mobile phone. I can remember those days while I was learning. I'll actually go, literally I'll be looking for people to teach me, and they'll be charging me, exorbitant, or they extort me. At the end of the day, I'll not learn. But you can see, I'm just doing this for free, and it's best people get to know this, so they won't pass through the same experience I passed through when I was learning. That's actually one of the main aim of this channel, to make sure I cut down the rigorous learning experiences of beginners. All right, so with that being said, if you are new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. More of these videos will be coming, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell. It's very important, so you get notified when next or anytime I post. So guys, I love you. Thank you for having me. Yes, I can say that. Thank you for watching. Thank you for following along. It's not easy, and I love you guys. See you in my next tutorial. Bye.